Hello, this is Christy. Thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to have fun with Camtasia and show you how you can create a self-assembling video made of puzzle pieces, or an image if you want. So you can have an image or a video while it's playing, but it actually comes together in form of pieces of a puzzle, and you can use that to assemble it on the screen and then present something. So it makes it for a nice intro or a nice, I don't know, touristic video or whatever. So let's have a look how we can do this. If you remember, I have a tutorial on my channel, by the way, where I'm showing you how to design a puzzle from rectangles, make them different colors. And these are actually different shapes inside of Xara Designer Pro, for example. You can do this in Affinity Designer, in Inkscape, whatever. So if you want, I can even provide you with these images in my assets library. But anyway, these are all individual images, and I want to use these to assemble a video in Camtasia and create a nice and interesting intro. For that purpose, I have a new project in Camtasia and I have this video. I'm just going to bring this video in here. This is a video of a fly over a city or something like this. You can see it. That's the video I want to have in the end assembled from pieces of puzzles. Yeah, quite cool. So let's see. I exported all of those shapes, and this is a very simple tutorial, really. All of those shapes, I exported them from Xara as individual images, each one of them in a separate file, and they are PNG files. Now, Camtasia cannot yet import vector files unless they're like Lottie files or something, but these are PNGs, but they're large enough so it doesn't make a difference when I put them on the screen and I use them for my animation. So they're quite large. I believe each one is about 300 pixels or so. You can see them here, each individual one. And the key is that they must have alpha. They need to be with transparency. They need to be transparent PNGs. That's how you export them from whatever program you're using to create your graphics. And it doesn't have to be puzzles. I mean, you can make other shapes, other types of puzzle images. And this one has like 9 pieces. So I'm going to import all of these to my project, all of these images, put them in there. Okay. And now we're doing everything in here. The principle behind this whole idea is that you must think of the final design first. So what I mean by this is you need to delete this video for now and assemble your video on the timeline as if you were playing puzzle, when you were a kid. Anyway, so you need to build your puzzle on the canvas first. So yeah, of course, you do the corners first. Yeah, I'm not good at puzzles so much, but anyway, this is the idea. You must first assemble the puzzle on your canvas to start with, right? So if you look in the bottom there on the timeline, also make sure they last for as long as you need them to last. In my case, they need to last as long as my video, right? So here's my video. I'm going to put it on the timeline, introduce a new frame, a new track at the bottom right there. And you can see now that my pieces don't last long enough. So I'm just going to bring them over there. Okay. Enable your timeline snapping if you need to make sure that things really align properly. There you go. So I've got my pieces now. I'm going to have to actually turn off the video and align them properly so there's no gaps. Okay, this is important. You must assemble your video, your puzzle on your canvas properly. If you, for example, have resized the puzzle by for any reason, you have changed the size of any individual tiles, then you need to make sure they're all at the same size when you start. But because when I exported them, I actually exported them at the correct size and I did not resize them, they should all be the correct size. You can use the arrow keys, by the way, to move things precisely on the canvas. These puzzle pieces happen to have black borders, which will help us when we use them as a mask if there's a little overlap necessary. Here we go. That's my puzzle. Now, before I continue, I have to plan ahead and I have to make sure that I have them at the right size when I need to start animating. So select all of them here and think about what is the final size they have to be on the screen, the final size of the video on the screen at the end of my animation, not at the beginning, at the end. So I'm going to decide, I'm going to group and zoom in and scale them about this size. And the position, that's important too. When I'm done with this, ungroup them again, they will just stay in that place. So I'm ready now to go. Okay, so the principle is this: bring your video on the last track. It was already there. That's my video. Resize the video to the size you want it to be at the end. Okay, so obviously if your video is not the same aspect ratio as your puzzle, you're going to have to lose a little bit of your video along the sides, right? So the edges. So you decide that, that is your choice. You need to make sure that the video fits perfectly inside of your whole puzzle, right? So there it is. I'm kind of losing some stuff in here. Now, okay, you can hold down the shift key and kind of stretch your video to just kind of make it fit there if it's appropriate for you. But, you know, if not, then I guess you're going to have to build your puzzle to match your video's aspect ratio, right? So this is the tricky part. What we're going to do is, obviously we're going to animate each piece individually. That's what we want to do, because we want them to come in and kind of build this video as we go. So because of that, each piece is going to have a chunk of the video inside of it. So that's why I said assemble your puzzle first, put the video in there, and now we're going to start building the individual pieces. Before I do that though, I'm going to make another copy of the video. Copy and paste. You actually don't see it because Camtasia added it on the top frame. So I'm going to move that track with my, let's call it my backup video, right? Let's double click on the track and call it backup, right? And I'm going to lock that video here using the lock. Okay, I'm not doing anything with this video, and in fact I'm going to even hide it. I don't need it right now. So here's the trick. Here's how we do this. Each piece, as I said, must have a video inside. So I'm going to place my playhead at the beginning because it makes it easier to paste things. And this is piece A, right? You see them in order. I mean, I can probably order them in the order of letters. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it tells me, it shows me which one I'm on right now. So piece A is on the top left, and I have a video below that. Let's use the visual effect called Media Matte, and we will apply the Media Matte effect to the puzzle piece, right? Here we go, puzzle piece A. Media Matte. You can see there's video inside of that now, right? Copy the video and now select piece A and video and group. That's it. You notice one thing though. If I hide now, there's no more video, right? So what video am I going to put inside the other pieces? So obviously I need copies of the video, right? So this gap that I created here by grouping, so let's rename this group, call it A, just like the piece. I know which piece it is. So now I'm pasting the video in here because it's in the same position, the same place. I'm going to apply Media Matte to piece B and select the video and group. So I have A and B. In fact, if you want, I can hide them as I go because it shows you that it's actually worked, right? So paste the video again in this gap. Apply Media Matte to C, select the video with the shift key and group, and now hide this. So you see, as I'm going, I'm hiding them so that you can see, but I can leave them on, I don't know. Here we go, video pasted again, Media Matte on the letter D, shift, group. Again, paste, Media Matte on E, shift video and group. And you can go like this until you finish all the pieces, right? You can actually go faster by just applying Media Matte to everything. And then look, G has disappeared because it's got the Media Matte, but there's nothing underneath. If I paste the video in place, it just fills up that space. So to see what's happening, I'm turning them off as I go, look. And you can see that the different chunks of video disappear. And the video, group, H, apply media matte, select and group, and finally media matte on I and group. Here we go. So now look, as I'm turning them off, they are all gone. So that's part number one. Okay, so I'm going to just show them all now, showing them all. And here we are. That's my video, right? Nothing's changed yet, although I have 9 copies of this video inside of these puzzle pieces. Look, they're all playing just fine. I cannot even see where the puzzle pieces are because my video is, complete. So that's why I said you need to assemble your video at the start to make sure that the video ends up in that position, right? So that's the trick. Now, the other thing we need to do is save. We don't want Camtasia to crash. Okay, now, because I'm running here with 9 copies of the same video, you can see Camtasia is struggling to animate. If you have Camtasia 2021, that's great because you can go to your media library, media bin, and right click on the video and just create a proxy for this video. Create proxy video. It's going to take a second, but then it's going to actually create like a lower resolution version of the video that you can use in editing. And now look, my editing is so much smoother, even though I have 9 copies of this because of the proxy. So if that's your situation, then, if your computer cannot cope with the speed or whatever video you're doing, make a proxy of it. And then it's going to be nice because it replaces that inside of all the puzzle pieces. So here comes the fun part, right? So I've done this, I've assembled my puzzle, but actually that's nothing interesting here because I want to now animate this whole thing. What I need to do is now go create an animation on all of these groups, right? So you notice I renamed them. So I'm going to actually go and rename all of them so that I know which letter I'm dealing with. If you don't know what they are, you can double click to go inside of the group and you can see the letter and then double click the header to press to give it the name, right? So you're going inside the group. Oh, this is F. Double click on the header or the tab and press S, F. So that's how you can rename. You can close these groups, by the way, because we don't need them anymore. We don't need to go inside. Okay, I've renamed my groups. How am I going to animate this? Well, you have to have a bit of space on your screen because you need to make sure you animate stuff. What I want to do is they're going to come in either together or at different times. It doesn't matter because you can offset the animations, but we want to select all of these groups and we want to make sure that we place an animation somewhere here, right? So of course you can move this animation back and forth and select this animation and all of them, hold down the shift key. You need to do it only 9 times or so. Make it longer, like maybe this. Okay, so let me see. Is that long enough for the puzzle pieces to assemble? Maybe not. Let's make it even longer. About that. Move them forward. Okay. Right. So now there's nothing happening because I haven't actually done anything with these. But now you need to make sure you place your playhead before this animation starts. And now look. Control key and mouse will scale the whole thing up. And if I now zoom out, and let's suppose I take piece A and move it. Yeah, look, I can actually click each one of these pieces and just move it away. Maybe this one goes down and this one goes. It makes it hard to move and animate because they're all on top of each other and because Camtasia actually made each group fit the invisible video that's inside of them. So if that's your problem, then what you can do is you can zoom in and look, this one is hard to click on because the only visible part is this corner, but I'm actually, occupying all this space. So you can hold down the Alt key and just pull the edges. You notice you go into crop mode here. So just pick the corner and just reduce the size of that to about the only space it needs, really. So there it is. Now my piece, I can move it around and it's not messing with all the other pieces, right? Remember, my playhead is still before the start of the animation. That's how I'm moving the starting point of all the pieces, right? So this one again, look, I cannot click on this because it's got too much. Alt key, pull the corner in. Make sure you're not cropping any of it, but just hiding the pieces that you can't see, the area you can't see. So now your piece is a single tiny piece, right? Pull that one and move it to the corner there and maybe crop it. Hold down the space key to move. This one is goes on the right. Yeah, just make sure you're not removing any parts you need, and put it outside of the screen. This one as well. Move it outside. Oh, I cropped the wrong one there. See what happens? This one is the centerpiece. So just hold down the Alt key and if this is hard to edit, I mean, you can hide all of the other tracks, see, with this eye icon, so that you can actually see what you're doing here, because it could be hard to figure out where each piece starts and where it ends, right? So as you go, you do the sides first, the corners and the sides, and just move them. There you go, move it outside, and finally this one. Takes a bit of work, but the nice thing is you may be able to reuse this if you have a video of the same size. And here we go, that one goes outside. And this one, actually, I'm just going to move this one on there. And okay, move these out, move these out. Sorry, this is kind of small. I should have zoomed in. So now my playhead is before at the beginning of the animation and everything is outside. So watch this, my animation now. All the pieces are coming in. Nice. That's nice. All right. Now, another thing you want to do, if you want to give this a little bit of a 3D look, instead of just moving them outside, you can actually also scale them up, make them large. So now look, watch the one on the right. It comes in and it becomes smaller, right? So you want to maybe do the same with the one at the top. Always move outside of the animation when you do this, on the left side of your animation. So watch this. It may not be very visible, but I'm actually going to all of them and increasing their size. So watch this. If you want this to be more 3D and more realistic, you can actually make them kind of come in from the camera. So maybe this one, the centerpiece, could actually be quite large and it could start off right there. So you see how it's coming in? I may have inadvertently, you see, this is the mistake you need to watch out for. I have created an animation point because I did not move my playhead. So undo, move your playhead to the start so you're not creating frames by mistake, and only then you can pick whatever you want and just go crazy with it. Another thing you can do, I know my video is not very good resolution, so you're going to see a lot of pixels, but another thing you can do is actually move these pieces in 3D space. And what I mean by that is, instead of just scaling them up and down and make them large and small, you can actually hold down Control key, select the object, and then hold down Control Shift, and you rotate the piece in 3D space. But be careful with this, because if you go too far, it's going to lose the angle and it's going to rotate in a very funny way. Camtasia is very bad with moving things in 3D space, and then when you move them sideways or up and down, actually that perspective changes. So I'm going to put this one there, but yeah, don't go crazy with the 3D. But yeah, no, it's good to have a little bit of 3D movement, right? So if I go here and I'm going to take each one, again, move to the start of the animations and take each piece, hold down Control Shift and just make it in 3D. So what I'm doing with this is this, look, Control Shift and I'm flipping it like that and then I'm moving it out. So each piece will get sort of transformed in a 3D kind of space like this. Look, let's move it up. And this one to the side. The one on the left is kind of flat, so let's make it like this and move it out. And this one again, like this. And finally, I guess I didn't do this one like that. Okay, all right. So now, I know it's kind of hard to see, but these are actually now all transformed in 3D space. So when they're coming in, you see them rotating also. Yeah, there you go. Quite nice. Now, if I'm done with my animation and positioning and all that, then I can actually go and offset these animations, right? So if I want some of them to come in earlier, I can just take those animations and make them shorter, right? So you see this one here is already coming in first and settles in while the other ones are still moving. And if that's the case, then the ones that come in early, you have to think about this. The ones you're bringing in early need to be on the lower tracks. So because this one is coming in first, you can see it's sitting there, but the other ones are kind of flying underneath. That's not good. So we need to move that one down so that the other ones coming in after it will be on top, right? So there you go. That's your effect right there. So let's make the centerpiece come in first. Which one is the centerpiece? That is 10. You can use the hiding and the showing to make sure that you're actually moving the right piece. You see, as I'm going, oh, that's the one. That's the centerpiece. I'm going to make that one come in first. So there you go. It's coming in quickly, and then all the other ones are starting. So you can actually start bringing some of those in. As this one is partially down there, you can actually go and change their offset a little bit. You can make some of them come in later and some of them sooner. Just make sure that by the time everything's finished, you still have some space in for them to animate. So I kind of like the one that comes in here, this one, and I want it to come in sooner. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. So you don't want to make this milk it too long. You don't want to make it too long, but you know, the effect is there. So if I play this as regular speed, there it is. There's my piece and another one. And if you say, okay, this is a moment where there was nothing happening, I should probably take one piece and make sure there's something always happening. Maybe shorten the animation, maybe bring it in faster. So as you know, you always want a piece to come in at some point, right? So there's not too much, gaps between your viewer is kind of sitting there watching and going, what's happening? There's nothing happening. So if you need to move the ends and the starts and the ends of some animation just to make sure there's always something interesting going on. Now, final piece, we got to the point where all of the pieces are settled. So now this is the part where you want, you're either finishing your animation or you can actually finish fading out, particularly if you haven't done a great job at assembling the pieces of the puzzle initially perfectly. You may still see some gaps in between them here. I don't see any gaps in this one, but if I didn't position them properly, by the end, I may see some cracks. I may see some gaps. So that's why I saved this final clip, my backup clip right there. I'm going to unlock that. That clip has remained unmoved, unchanged all this time. So what I could do is I could select all of my pieces, right? And, pretty much shorten everything here and fade those clips out, right? So if you go to your transitions, you can choose a fade transitions or whatever, fade apply fade to all of those clips. So this is the moment where they disappear. But you see them disappearing and I don't see any change, which means my video is perfectly aligned in place. So now my real video, which is the single copy, continues to play right there. So now if I've got the whole thing, here we go, play the whole thing. My video is there, so you notice what I have to do? I have to make sure that my original video doesn't show until this fading operation right there. So grab the video and just make it start here after the animation. That's one thing you need to make sure, right? So now my video is playing, the other videos are fading out, and my video remains. It's very seamless. You don't see anything. However, I said, you know, if you align them properly and they're fading out and covering the whole video, you don't need to do this. But anyway, so now to make this more interesting, okay, depending on how fast you're moving these, if you want to move them faster, by the way, you need to take each animation and just basically shorten it. So the faster an animation is, the faster the object is moving. I don't want to mess it up by the way, so I'm going to leave it alone. But what you can do is select all of these now and apply motion blur to them. So you can go to Visual Effects and grab motion blur, and there you go. And now, just to make sure that you're not affecting the animations, I'm going to activate the global animation, so that if I'm changing the intensity of this blur, I'm not adding any keyframes I don't want. And I'm going to make this one fully blurred. You can see it now, it's a little blurred here. And again, as I said, look at the ones that are moving faster. You can see they have blur. And of course, if you make the animation shorter, let's say this one here, you see it's kind of blurry, but look at this. If I make the animation very short, the blur is even more pronounced. So that object's going to come in very fast, but it kind of looks nice and natural now because everything's blurry and it makes up for all the pixelation of the video that you may have. So there you have it. Another thing you can do is maybe you want to change the background of your video and you want to put like a text or something, like a title on it, and you may want to maybe add a drop shadow. So let's see what we can do. Just go to the project settings and change the canvas to something bright. Here we go. So now this thing still works, but everything's coming together on a bright sort of background. How can I make this more interesting by having some drop shadows show up? Well, that's a tricky one. I'm going to select everything, by the way, and group it. So my puzzles are still in there, but I don't see anything, you know, they're now cropped to the canvas, right? So that's one thing. Copy this and paste it. So I have a copy of my group. I'm going to see if I can do a color adjustment on it. Make it all black. Hide the main one. Turn the brightness down. Turn the contrast down. So basically all my pieces are black now. So this could be my drop shadow. And the way that this works is it has to all be in the same position at the end, but at the beginning, it can be in a different place. So you can see now they're kind of merging for each piece. Anyway, this is the way to do this. As I say, I'm going to repeat, making sure that you assemble the final position first, and then you animate everything from there backwards, basically. So that's how it works. And this is using Media Matte, which is available from Camtasia 2021, 2022. And if you are in a previous version like 2020, you can still do this, but using the track matte effect on the tracks by right-clicking on the eye icon, and you can have the track matte effect similar to the Media Matte, except it just blocks one whole track for you. So yeah, you can do this in previous versions as well, as far as 2020, the version 2020. So apart from this, I hope this was interesting, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and if you would like to see any other effects or funny stuff with Camtasia. Thank you for watching so far, and if you enjoy these, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and maybe even if you haven't upgraded to Camtasia 2022 or whatever recent version it is when you watch this, click the link in the description to upgrade. That is an affiliate link. It will help support my channel at no extra cost to you. So thanks again for your time. See you on the next one.